20 long that I had on my desk, and I had made it a front opening conversion, which, as you can see, there's still silicone all over what is the proper bottom of the tank, because I had this background plus another piece silicone to the bottom, which was the back when it was turned up on its side. However, the front conversion started leaking at one of the corners, and I don't know if it was a silicone mistake or what. It had run for over a year, and it had leaked once, and I'd fixed it. Started leaking the second time. I said, no worries, I'm moving those frogs anyway, because that's what went into the big Exoterraviv. And I just pulled this one apart. So I took off the background, and it came off in 2 pieces, and then I was able to actually hot glue, and we'll see how long this works, and if it comes off, I will let you know. It feels very sturdy. The background to the actual side of the tank this time. This bit was the side, and I just left it so it sort of fits together. So then what I've done is I've taken the hydro balls and I've put a bunch over here because I want a bigger water section, because this is going to be for, as you said, the fire-bellied toads. And they are moving from a 10 gallon into a 20 gallon. They're going to have about the same size land, maybe a little bit less land actually. I think it'll be about the same. But they're going to have a lot more water because they spend most of their time in the water, and I wanted to increase that. So we have 2 fire-bellied toads in a 10 gallon tank, and we are moving them over here. So I just wanted you to see, I used this piece of cork tubes, actually at a really convenient height for this. It's just one of those things that worked out, and it was foamed into the background. And so I'm using it sort of to help hold what will be the substrate back. So I've pulled the hydro balls all the way up here, and then we've put down our fiberglass screen on top of it to be a substrate barrier. And then my next step is I'm going to put a bunch of rocks in here to hold the hydro balls back. And then we could put in some sand as our substrate, and we could be ready to plant it. So this is going to be a pretty fast and easy setup because I had a ready-to-made background ready to go and pop in. And I've just put it on a stand. Of course, here's the mess from all the stuff. And this is in my son's room because the fire-bellies are his. So here's where we're at. I have added sand with a whole bunch of rocks. It's not a very visible. There's a bunch of large rocks in this portion under here, leading up to that cork bark tube that I've sort of packed in and around with sand so that the hydro balls can't shift underneath the substrate barrier. So this gives them a little bit of a shallower area going down into a deeper swimming area, which, as I've discovered with my 10 gallon, more water is better, deeper is better. Just from the standpoint, even though they like to float a lot and such, once this pothos and the Tritoscantia start taking over this section, it really cuts down on the amount of swimming space they have. And so I wanted to give them a similar feel where they have lots of leaves for cover and things like that, and it won't take a couple months, and this will be really taking up this section. But still let them have room to really maneuver and swim around and enjoy themselves, because I feel like they're not as active as they could be. So that's what I've still got, so to put something in that pot right there. I will think of something. We've got leaf litter, we've got moss, we've got some seed pods going down into the water, try to give them a really, really natural feel to their environment. And seed pod too, to help them climb up onto the cork bark if they need it. I may put another rock in there just to make sure they have no problems getting out to the land side to eat. And then maybe another rock or 2 in there as well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, just so that they have somewhere else to sort of balance themselves until the roots of the pothos get there. This filter I may not keep. It's working, and it's humming, which I never like. It didn't hum on my test, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Its intake is on the bottom, so it definitely has to be mounted sideways, so maybe that's why it's humming, although I tested it sideways. It has a spray bar, which I like because that diffuses the water, and I pointed the spray bar at the glass, so you get this little bubbly motion, but it's not making a huge whirlpool out of their pond area. You got a little bit of a motion, but not a ton. I don't think they'll mind that. We will play with that, and I will keep you posted as to how all that goes. So after increasing the space for the fire-bellied toads up to a 20 long, setting it up on a stand and redoing that Paludarium, as you've seen, I have now reset the original Paludarium, the 10 gallon nano. It's now got a filter in the back corner. It's hard to see the thing, but it's just a little filter that can work in a few inches of water. It creates a little trickling water flow. That's turned out to be the best solution for this. And we still have a pond area. I didn't change the hardscaping or anything with like the height of the land or anything. But what I did do is I trimmed some of the plants, it was really jungly. Some of them went into the new Fire-Bellied setup. And I've added, it's hard to see with these reflections in the daylight. Let's see if I get right up here. So it'll still focus. Okay, good. I've added some cork bark pieces and actually hollowed out underneath them to create a burrow underneath, and added more substrate, fresh leaf litter in around, a little bit of living sphagnum moss on the top. It's more for decoration than anything else. We'll see if it stays alive. It was growing in one of my dart frog vivariums, and so it may not adjust to the lower humidity of this tank with a mesh top. But my 4.5-year-old wants a yellow spotted salamander. And with any luck, before I even publish this video, we will have one living in this tank. But I just wanted to show you this reset. I did a 100% water change, but the sponges in the filter should still be keeping that good bacteria. There's a few little snails living in the water section. And I think this would be a great starter tank for a juvenile salamander. So that's where we're going to go next with this, and we'll see how that goes. The salamander home today, and I came in to check on him. I'm like, I don't see any movement. I wonder if he's okay. What's he doing? And then all of a sudden I realized I saw this, see if I can get it where there's no glare, really adorable little face in the water section, just looking at me out from underneath that plant. And I'm like, that is so cute. And I think I really like the salamander. Now I kind of want another one. Shh, don't tell anyone. Anyway, so this is Spots, named by my 4-year-old, and he is a yellow spotted salamander that's native to the U.S., but purchased, so we didn't go catch him, to make sure everything was on the up and up. And I think these are actually possibly wild caught, just because they're hard to breed, but they're not endangered, and purchasing him through a vendor made sure that he was collected legally and responsibly, because it's not legal to collect herps without a permit in Tennessee. So that is why we got him the way we did. And he's adorable, and I think he likes having a pond in his vivarium.